At least 232 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza. This follows escalation in violence. The Israeli military launched a massive assault. This marks the end of a 2-month ceasefire with Hamas. Many victims include children, according to Gaza's Ministry of Health. The deadliest incidents occurred in Khan Yunis and Gaza City. In Khan Yunis, 77 people lost their lives. In Gaza City, at least 20 were killed. The attacks also targeted central Deir el-Balah and Rafah. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he ordered the strikes because of a lack of progress in talks to extend the ceasefire. This decision came after Hamas refused to release captives. Hamas also rejected offers to extend the ceasefire. Netanyahu's statement indicated a shift in military strategy. Israel will now use increasing military strength against Hamas. The Israeli military described the operations as extensive strikes on terror targets. Hospitals are overwhelmed with casualties. The ceasefire had been in place since January 19th. It was a fragile agreement, with tensions always simmering. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza is escalating. Access to basic needs is becoming increasingly difficult. Gaza's Ministry of Health is monitoring the situation closely. They provide updates on the number of casualties. The impact on civilians is deep. Many are left without shelter or basic services. The need for humanitarian aid is urgent. Aid organizations are struggling to respond effectively. The violence disrupts their operations. Thus, the situation in Gaza is critical. The recent Israeli strikes have resulted in a tragic loss of life. Israel wants Hamas to release half of the remaining hostages in return for a promise to negotiate a lasting truce. Hamas instead wants to follow the ceasefire deal reached by the two sides, which calls for negotiations to begin on the ceasefire's more difficult second phase, in which the remaining hostages would be released and Israeli forces would withdraw from Gaza. Hamas is believed to have 24 living hostages and the bodies of 35 others. Both sides must consider the consequences of their actions. The need for dialogue and peace remains paramount.